start inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه ووالاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، inshallah we continue Surah Al-Imran, and we are today with verse number 7. Verse number 7. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced himself in Surah Al-Imran, just a refreshing of the memory that Surah Al-Imran from verse 1 to 80 something, they were revealed one time as a response to the delegation of Najran who came, the Nasara, Christians, came to ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about his prophethood and all of that. Many of them became Muslims, by the way, but the leaders and all that did not become Muslims, right? Some of the leaders became Muslims, as we'll see through the surah, okay? But they rejected the religion and, the rest of them. So, all these ayat, they come in that context. What I mean is, for every ayah, you will find the hikmah why. Like Allah Azza wa Jal starts the surah by Alif Lam Mim. Then what is the next verse? Allahu La ilaha illa huwa al-hayyu al-qayyum. So what these people who came believe in? That there is Trinity, that Isa is the Son of God, that Isa died and crucified. Sahih, right? So Allah Azza wa Jal said, Allahu is not Isa, right? La ilaha illa huwa is not Trinity. Al-hayyu does not die, right? Al-qayyum means the one who's taking care of all the affairs of the world. Yes? So if he died, who was taking care of the affair of the world? Right? Al-hayyu al-qayyum. You see the context here? نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق. He is the one who gave you the book with Haqq, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. So they believe in Injil is the same God. Okay? So you are not here coming to somebody who worships a different God. So that's the conversation here. And the Quran is not some independent religion. مصدقا لما بين يديه من قبل وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. So this Quran is not coming with something new. It is exactly what is in your hand also. Al-Injil saying worship God, he says worship God. Right? The God is the one who sent guidance to people, is the same one. He sent Musa and Isa, he sent Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the ayat. You have to think beyond just the literal meaning of the ayah, right? هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان إن الذين كفروا بآيات الله لهم عذاب شديد والله عزيز ذو انتقام. Then إن الله لا يخفى عليه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء. يعني for Allah nothing in heavens or earth is hidden. Right? If you claim that Isa alayhi salam was killed and crucified, he did not know that it was coming to him. Did he? Knew that it was coming to him? According to them, no. يعني that how he would have saved himself, for example, right? هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. And we talked about that. Isa alayhi salam create from the mud or from the soil something the shape of the bird, and he blows in it in the name of Allah and it becomes like a bird. But he does not create human beings. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. Allah is the one who shapes you in the wombs of your mother the way he wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone tall, someone short, someone believer, someone not believer, someone will live, someone will die, man, woman, male, female, all of those things that have sane or insane, is retarded or not, Allahu a'lam, right? Allah is the one who knows, subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one. كيف يشاء. Allah is كيف, and that actually gives us that belief, that faith, that makes us comfortable in whatever Allah Azza wa Jalla gives us, right? كيف يشاء. It is the way Allah wills, subhanahu. Yeah, we take the means, we try to do whatever we can, but you cannot prevent anything that Allah Azza wa Jalla wanted. And you cannot bring something that Allah doesn't want. Right? So this is كيف يشاء. The meaning of that word كيف يشاء. A believer, his faith becomes stronger in Allah Azza wa Jal. These kind of sentences about Allah Azza wa Jal should improve and enhance your faith in Him. When you say يفعل ما يشاء, He does what He wants. لا يسأل عما يفعل. He is not questioned about what He does, but we are asked, right? Allah wills, Allah is able, على كل شيء قدير, بكل شيء عليم, لطيف خبير. These asma of Allah and these characteristics of Allah and those statements of Allah should make the aqidah of the believer stronger. And that's what Sahaba actually were at comfort with this issue of qadar, They were not debating too much like us. Okay? Because they know that they are dealing with someone subhanahu wa ta'ala is not our system. So why should I bother here? I am in the hand of someone who knows what is best, right? And I am in the hand of someone who is the only one who knows when I'm going to leave this earth and how I'm going to leave it. Nobody have doubt about death. No one. The Muslim, the non-Muslim, the believer in God, the believer, the one who does not believe in God, the atheist, the pagan, everybody knows that they're going to die. So the death is the only fact that everyone agrees on. It's going to happen to them. And there is no one who says, I'm not going to die. No one can come and stand like that and say, I'm not going to die. And people will believe him. It's not going to happen. Right? So everybody knows that. So when your aqidah is that simple fact that you agree, you don't have control over. Right? You don't have control over. And you believe that there is God, then in between you should not have an issue. From the time يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء, He's the one who shapes you in the womb of your mother. Nobody have any interference in this one. And He's the one who's going to take my life. So why I'm worried about in between? Why God does this? If He doesn't do that, why? You should rest. He's لطيف خبير. He knows. كل شيء عليم. بصير سميع بصير. He knows. He hears. He has the will. He has the power. He does not die. الحي القيوم. Right? قوي المتين. All of this asma al-husna of Allah should make the aqidah of the believer stronger, worry-free. Worry-free about this dunya and all these things. You worry about one thing only. How Allah looks at me. That is the believer's worry. The main worry actually should be the only worry. Right? The religious worry. We worry normally as human beings. When my child goes away and I'm worried that they will get injured. That's not what we're talking about here, right? That's not what we're talking about. This is the fitra. This is the human nature that you are afraid. Like Yaqub alayhi salam said, I'm afraid that the wolf will eat him. It's not like he's not trusting Allah. That's the father fear, the normal fear. We're not talking about that. We're talking about being worried about rizq. Being worried about the fears of the dunya too much that it affects our ibadah, right? That is the part that believers should not have. Okay? So here Allah is talking in this context when this debate with Christian. So I want you every ayah coming to have that context in there. It has to be answering something in the altered belief of the Christians and emphasizing the belief of the Muslim. Right? So this debate here is for us as a Muslim, it is emphasizing certain beliefs. And for a non-Muslim, it is answering certain doubts. You see how the powerful conversation of Allah Azza wa Jalla, when Allah reveal an ayah, this ayah mean different things for different people. Different things for different. That's why the miracle of the Quran. I can recite an ayah of the Quran and give you the meaning of it. Each one of us will relate to it differently. Yes? Because each one, if the ayah is talking about sabr, I say, يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. We talk that one in Al-Baqarah, right? Seek help in sabr and salah. And I'll give a couple of examples. Not necessarily those exact examples apply to you. But sabr comes at the time of hardship, one of the meaning. And then you relate to it in your head with something that happened to you and practicing sabr. So each person tastes the Quran in a personalized way. You see? Only Quran does that. If somebody author a book, not necessarily everybody can like the book. The story might work for certain group of people, but doesn't work. But Quran, everyone who say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah or not, they will find something that they can relate to in it. That's why stories, they say the word bestseller. What does it mean, bestseller?
It's matched a lot.
Means more people buy it than the others, right? But not everyone. Not everyone, it's a bestseller. Why? For many things, right? But it is not the seller, for example. Like everybody want to read that book. This is for teenagers, not for adults. This is for men, not for women. This is for adventurous people, not. This is the genre of this is the genre of that, right? But the Quran is the genre of everything, of everyone, at any time, for any situation. And nobody can do that except Allah Azza wa Jal. So whenever the ayah comes, those Nasara, when they are hearing it, whoa, what? This is a customized message, just happened like this in front of us. And the Muslim said, wow, now we know another dimension of our belief, right? So Allah Azza wa Jal here is going to talking about the different types of the ayat of the Quran. From that sense I just told you now. He said, هو الذي أنزل عليك الكتاب, means ya Muhammad is Allah. He is the one who revealed that book. He is the one who revealed the Torah, Injil, all of that. He is also the one أنزل عليك الكتاب منه آيات محكمات. تبع القرآن. There are two types of آيات. محكمات يعني clear meaning. The meaning is clear. I told you what محكمات means last time, right? Hakama is that rein that we put in the horse's mouth, to guide left, right, all of that. So muhkama means it gives you control, right? So an ayah, muhkama. قل هو الله أحد, right? وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة. يعني nobody can say أقيموا الصلاة means be good. Nobody can say that. آتوا الزكاة means be generous. No. He's saying zakah, right? He did not say sadaqah general. La, zakah. In this ayah is zakah. And Rasulullah told us what is zakah, right? Aqimus salah, we know. We have salah, we have sunnah, we have nafil. Different, right? But we know what aqimus salah means, right? When the ayat of talaq, we studied, or the ayat of marriage, that's muhkamat. Muhkamat means the rule is known. Yeah, they differ in the application of the rule, but that's not the issue here. The issue is when we're talking, you know what it's talking about, and you know what situation to apply it in, and you know how to apply it. That is the meaning of ayatun muhkamat. You understand? In ayatun muhkamat, there are things that the lay person gets. Right? Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَ. Camel, oh wow, amazing. خلاص. Normal person, right? Very simple. And there are things that you will know through knowledge, like aqimus salah. Yeah, I know what salah means, literally, but how should I establish it? Oh, there is fajr, dhuhr, asr, maghrib, isha. There is fard and the nafl and sunnah and this. There is salah of janazah, there is salah of Eid. You learn, right? So this is still muhkamat, because you know, either you know it by your fitrah, what it means, or someone tells you what it means, because that someone knows, right? Tells you what it means, or but through the knowledge, you know what it means, right? That's muhkamat, yani no differences in what it means. Salah, we know salah. We differ in the application, but salah, we know salah. Nobody can say. And that's why there is one type of tafsir that have issues with it. That, people who claim that they are Sufis and all of that, old and the contemporary, in the past 600-700 years, we have this trend that says in the Quran, for every word and every ayah, there is tafsir batini. Batini means internal, like something hidden. Zahiri is like, general for everybody, that the Sharia and all of that. Zahir, right? But batin has something in it. So they will go and interpret every ayah in this regard, right? Like they will say, for example, the killing, if Allah Azza wa Jalla said, fight the mushrikeen wherever you find them, right? Mm-hmm. They will say that means you have to overcome your own sins wherever they are. Yeah, they will just go like that, right? And they'll say, whenever the shaitan mentioned, that means that this is the evil intention of yourself. And they will go like this, right? Some of them even, some of it is a little bit accepted, some of it is very extreme.
Dark.
Very dark, yeah. And then some of it will go even darker for the people who rejected the Rafida, yani the group of Shi'ism, right? They will go even extreme in this. They will call إن الله يأمركم أن تذبحوا بقرة. سيدنا موسى يعني. Allah Azza wa Jal ordered you to slaughter a cow means kill Aisha. Yeah. They will do that. And they say والتين والزيتون is Ali and Fatima. Right? They will just go like that. You know, that is where things,
Imagination.
not only imagination, that whenever you open that door, it is now the human being are the ones who are making the Quran to mean something. It's not the way of Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's why I want you to be careful. As an advanced student of knowledge, you need to be careful, right? Careful with that. If someone, now you know why we say you do not just interpret the Quran because you understood it like that. Because this opens that gate, right? And that actually many good people, they deviated in this. They were good people initially. They deviated in this because, you know, the more you seek knowledge, there is a certain type of fitna for a alim or for a scholar. That fitna is when their mind has more than others. Okay? And they kind of put their guard down and they become an authority now. Okay? So whenever an idea comes, they just go ahead and rush to it. Because they have already a status, everybody take it for granted and apply, right? And that becomes very detrimental to themselves and to everybody else. That's why you'll find people in 10, 15 years, they start deviating either extreme right or extreme left. And that's why you stick to the text, right? Not to be literal, but you have to have your bearings, like, you know, compass. Okay, now you are drifting, come back here. Now we are drifting this way, now come back here. You might have opinions here and there, but, you know, you are within the main. You understand what I'm trying to say here is very, very important. And it actually opens a huge gate of problems. Problems. That, okay, an idea comes, oh, now that's a beautiful idea, let me share it. And let me share it, and let me share it. Then they don't go and see what was said about it anymore. That's why one of my shuyukh, he said, I tell him, Shaykh, sometimes I get the idea, that was a few years ago, I get sometimes like ideas relating certain ayat together, right? You know, like idea pops in my head when I'm reflecting in the Quran, and then, you know, I want to share it. He said, give me example. I gave him a few examples. I said, those are great, but you have to see what was said before. When an idea comes, before you go and say it in a khatira or after Isha or after Fajr and just dump it on people and then later on you discover it was right or was wrong or was in between, go ahead and read as many tafseers in it as possible. Maybe you'll find someone who did that idea before. In a lesser way than you or more than you. You refine it that way, right? So you refine that way. So instead of saying, you know, I think this ayah means such and such, and you risk it being wrong, then you read 40, 50 opinions about it. Then, you know, you said, oh, they also thought about it, but they put a frame for it. They said, oh, think about it that way, but remember there is a hadith saying this. Remember there is an ayah saying that. Now your idea is refined. So when you are saying it, it is not like everybody can say whatever they think. You understand me, sister? So everybody can say whatever they think. Oh, I have knowledge, I have ijazah, I know, right? And people think that you know better than them, so they take it. And then you destroy everybody, right? Yeah, I don't know, so be like that. That's one benefit. What is the second benefit of reading when you get an idea about an ayah? You can read more. What is the second thing? So first one is you refine your idea and you see what more knowledgeable people said about it. What is the next step, next benefit? The next benefit is next time your thought actually will come refined. Because you have like a certain frame of mind that whenever a thought comes, you have a filter already. Says, no, not that. You know, it's like this, think like this, right? So always you will go and check what this ayah said. So next time you will find, if you keep reading, once a thought comes, it comes balanced. The thought becomes balanced, and then the next thing you just open and read, right? So that's very important about the ayat mutashabihat. So muhkamat, we know, right? وأخر متشابهات. I mean, هن الكتاب. Allah said about the known ayat, they are like الكتاب. You know the mother and the child, right? Mother is the caretaker of the child. Child is the dependent on the mother for all their needs, correct? Same thing. It's like this ayat muhkamat. They are the source, they are the origin that all the other ayat dependent on. You don't understand the other ayat without this ayat muhkamat, the foundational ayat, right? So there is a foundation ayat. So any ayah that comes about prayer, but it is not clear, we'll understand it within the clarity of the ayah of aqimus salah, right? So this is muhkamatun hunna الكتاب. متشابهات now means similar or have different meanings, right? متشابهات يعني لم يظهر معناها, يعني the meaning of which is not clear, and here is not clear to the layperson or not clear to the scholar or not clear to anybody. You see, all applicable. يعني there are ayat that only Allah knows. إن الله عنده علم الساعة. What is الساعة? Right? We know that there is a concept of الساعة. When is going to come? Allah knows, right? So there are ilm of certain ayat that only Allah knows. And there are ilm of certain ayat, it is hidden only from certain people. For certain people, they know the meaning of it. And there are ayat that we know the part of the meaning, scholars know part of the meaning. Allah knows more meanings, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is knowledge that Allah gives to everybody. Give you some more clarity on this. Abdullah ibn Abbas, for example, radiallahu anhu, he had knowledge that no other person had in understanding the Quran. Habrul Ummah, he is the greatest scholar of the Ummah and tafsir of the Quran. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud was having that status when Abdullah ibn Abbas was a child. Because, you know, sometimes you read in the narrations, and that's also knowledge, right? You read in the narrations that Abdullah ibn Mas'ud saying there is no ayah in the Quran except I know where it was revealed, how it was revealed, when it was revealed, why it was revealed. And if I know anybody who's more knowledgeable than me, that any travel distance, I will travel for them. Yet, everybody says Abdullah ibn Abbas is the most scholar, you know, of the Ummah. Nobody after him. So this seems like it's contradicting, two Sahaba contradicting each other. But when you study deeper, you will know when Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said that, Abdullah ibn Abbas was still a student. When Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said this, it's upon the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That time Abdullah ibn Abbas was 16 years old. But Abdullah ibn Abbas is the same one that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he put his hand on his chest and he said, Allahumma faqihhu fi ad-din wa 'allimhu at-ta'wil. Ya Allah, make him faqih, jurist in the religion, and make him understand, and teach him the interpretation of the Quran. That is the proof here that there are certain parts of the Quran not everybody would know. That's what I'm trying to emphasize here. So Rasul said, Ya Allah, teach him the tafsir. Tafsir is not to say this word means this word means that. It's not like that. There is a higher level of tafsir is when you start grabbing the ayat and putting them together and say this ayah connected to this ayah in that way. Come on, there's unlimited possibilities, right? So when you have 3 ayat speaking about the subject, each ayah relate to the other, there are like 9 possibilities or 12 possibilities. Now we put another ayah, they become like 100 possibilities, right? Yeah. And it keeps going like that. And that's why someone like Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, for example, he was known for this aspect, right? He was known for this aspect, that somebody asked him a question, it's like a computer, you know? He will look by alphabetical order, he will look by the subject matter, he will look by the spiritual, foundation of the ayat, and he will bring you 20, 30, 40 ayat. You will never even think that they're speaking about that subject. You don't. Another example, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one time there was a Sahabi. he has a young brother. Young brother, he has a pet bird called the Nughayr. Nughayr is a small bird. And that bird died. And that boy, his name is Umayr, he was crying. So the Prophet is give him some condolences, making him feel better. Ya Umayr, ma fa'ala al-Nughayr. You know what happened to al-Nughayr, ya Umayr? That's a small sentence, right? Well, someone like Imam Shafi'i, for example, got 40 mas'alas out of it. Ya Umayr, ma fa'ala al-Nughayr. 5 words. Right? He got like 40 plus mas'ala in fiqh, in aqidah, in in the adab, in the sunnah, in the everything. Somebody can have a pet bird. Here's a mas'ala. Right? Can you have a pet or not? Right? Now, elder talking to younger. Right? Yeah. Being concerned as a community member. Right? Making conversation with kids. You can go on and on and on and on. Now your mind is opening, right? But you will not get 5-6 mas'alas without me opening the gate for you now, right? But the one who initiated this analogy, what kind of mind he was? So now I tell you, Shafi'i did this, right? Now nobody did before him did that, right? So how he sit and make that list, now you know what kind of brain is that person. That's why Allah called them وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ. Those who are well established. You know, rasikh, يعني if I stick this pencil, for example, in this candle here, when it is hot, right? Is this pen stable? No, it's not stable because it will. But if it is hot, it hardens. If it is in a cement, if this goes in a cement, and the cement dries up on it, can you just unplug it? So that's rasikhuna. You know, rasikhuna, unshakable. They are well versed in the ilm. Rusukh, rasikh, means firm. That's why they call jabal rasikhat. Rasikh. Yani it is unshakable. It is not something like can be shaken. Alright? You can look to it relative, different ways, but rasikhuna fil ilm, it is more of a metaphor. More metaphor, right? Because the word rasikh is not for human being. Rasikh is a physical, inanimate subject, jamad, yani inanimate subject, which is stuck, right? Rasikh. Rasikh. Or can be like a tree. The tree has the big burl, or the trunk is the huge, right? So it goes down. That is rasikh. Rasikh itself. Even if the tree cuts off, the foundation is what? Strong. It needs more effort to dig it out. So rasikhuna fil ilm, they are like that. They are like that in the foundation, in knowledge. That's how they get what not anybody else can get, what others can't get. Right? Rasikhuna fil ilm. So mutashabihat, as I told you, that the time it can mean, and that's actually an amazing thing, because mutashabihat is the meaning different, and the word itself have different, you know, the scholars have different opinions about its meaning, and that's a further proof what mutashabihat means. If the word itself referring to it, they differ on it, right? So they said, what is the word mutashabihat means? Some said Allah only knows, like the time of the Day of Judgment. Some others said only the strong scholars know, and others said the things that the lay person doesn't know, right? They are talking about the ayah, the meaning of the word itself. Now when we go to the subject matter, it becomes clearer and clearer. And they said it's like the time of the Dajjal, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, you know, what is that? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, for example, when the Day of Judgment comes, an animal will be talking to people. Is there a real animal? What kind of animal? Or is it a figurative thing? Or is it like going to be a computer or a machine? Or that's mutashabihat, right? Allah knows. Some people said, okay, yani at the end of time we're going to be fighting with the swords, and that means technology is obsolete, or this will be different type of swords, like, you know, Star Wars kind of swords, or what are those, right? Allah knows. You see? Now understand what mutashabihat means? Yeah, that is the meaning of mutashabihat.
Shaykh,
Now,
just curious, why Allah make
محكمات. Yes. That's the point. That's part of متشابهات. Is not everything you can answer. You can not like that. See, the part of God being a God is, as I said before, is not to be questioned about everything. Because our human being, we want everything to be clear. We are curious and we want people to tell us. And we say, okay, all right, now I understand. Like that. We are like that human being. Anything which you don't know, you want to know. If you are given a chance, you want to know, right? And once you know, you are satisfied, right? Now, concept of God, servant, creation, creator relationship doesn't work like this. Because if this is the case, so he's not here anymore. He's here, right? Okay. Why you are doing this? Because. Or okay, thank you. And why you are doing this? Because. Okay, all right, thank you. Then he's there just to answer your curiosity. So he's not a God now. He can do whatever he wants. He's always waiting for you to ask him so he can explain himself. Right? So that's not...
Humanizing.
Yeah, humanizing the God. Yeah, that is the problem for many people. Whenever you say, why? Yeah, there are things that I can't answer you why. There are things Allah answer you why. Allah said why he created the heavens and earth? To serve you. Why those things? To serve you. Now, how it can serve me, you figure it out. You go seek knowledge and figure out how this tree can serve you. So there are things that Allah literally tell you why. And there are things that Allah Azza wa Jal let you discover why. Right? And there are things Allah give you the knowledge only through which you can know why. So if you don't seek the knowledge, you will never know why. And that is where science comes, right? So without that, you will not know why. Yani Allah Azza wa Jalla said the stars and the moons so you can navigate. That's a simple answer for people. But how should I navigate? Go seek the knowledge of navigation and you will know what it means, right? If you don't seek the knowledge, you will not know why. And there are things without knowledge, you will know why. You will know why. Allah said, I created you to worship me. That's why. How you should worship? Rasulullah came to tell you how. So why and how, right? But there are many things. Okay, why Allah is hiding certain things, not telling us? Now I cannot answer you on that one. Right? I can't. I can't answer you on that one. Why we don't eat pork? Oh, because it is filthy. That's not why. That's what you think why, right? But what if a pig which is very not filthy? What if some people they genetically engineer, fetus pig that does not have any of the above diseases? What are you going to do? You're going to eat it now? Then you will know why. Why? Why? Why here? Because Allah is the one telling you, you should be enough believer to say sami'na wa ata'na. Then if there is a hikmah you should know, you will know. If the hikmah for you not to know now, you will not know now. If the hikmah for this generation not to know, but the next generation will, that will be the case. Like us, there are many things we know, Sahaba did not know. Did the Sahaba know that the earth goes around the sun?
No.
Right? So why there is a day and the night? Actually, the Sahaba asked Rasulullah. They did ask him specifically. And I told you that in the Surah Al-Baqarah. Why, again, why, Ya Rasulullah, the moon is like this in the beginning and it keeps increasing and it's full moon and then later, why? What is that? Right? So Rasulullah said, that should not be your question. How come, small, how does this happen, Ya Rasulullah? How does this happen? So instead of how does this happen, why Rasulullah told them what? For the counting of Hajj and Zakah and all of these things. Right? That's what they needed to know. But now they did not say, but you still did not answer our question. Right? Is this only why? That's what they needed to know then. Now we know why the moon is doing like that. Don't we? Yes? When we were young, they taught us why the moon is like this. Oh, when the sun comes between the earth and the moon, and now we understand that. What did that lead to us? maybe our faith is not as strong as theirs. It needs this kind of scientific discovery to boost it up, right? So Allah talk about it in the Quran. Now we know what it means. But is this why Allah revealed it? No. Right? Maybe 1,000 years from now, they will discover more things about the moon, right? And they will look to us and say, Wallahi, our great grandparents, they were very strong believers. That they did not see all this, what we have discovered now, yet they were good believers, about the moon and about the sun and all that. Like we're saying now about the Sahaba 1400 years ago. You get it now? So sometimes your why question, maybe it's not ultimately hidden. Maybe it will be known. Why Allah hides things, maybe people will know. It was hidden from the Sahaba and we discovered it. And it is hidden from us and they discover it. So that's one thing of the things that answer your question, right? But there are certain things nobody will know, for sure.
But here it says in the ayah, ulul albab.
وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ, not وَمَا knowledge. وَمَا يَذَّكَّرُ, not يَذَّكَّرُ means they understand the hikmah here.
Is there any,
Who are ulul albab? Yeah, I'll explain in a minute.
Want to be among them.
Yeah. Of course, everybody wants to. Yeah.
Sheikh,
Now,
can we say, like, for instance, the al-muhkamat, it's the ayat which count the ahkam?
la. This is two different things. La. I'll give you examples now. Yeah.
So what's it called, like the alif lam mim, where it's
That's from mutashabihat. Yeah, alif lam mim is from mutashabihat. Exactly, right? Because whenever you find an ayah that scholars said it might mean this, it might mean that, it's this, some said this, some said that, and there is no solid proof to support any of them, then you know this is mutashabihat. They're trying their best to find the meaning. But well, Allah Azza wa Jalla is sending it to prove to you that you can be reading things and only Him is the one who have control. He is the one who have control. That's it.
Does the Sahaba at the Rasulullah time ask about the tafseer or what God mean by this thing? Or
Very good. Not always. I'll tell you why. See, this is an amazing aspect here. Sahaba actually were prohibited to ask questions in certain things. Because, especially when ahkam comes, they don't ask. Because they don't want to repeat the cow thing, right? Because now the revelation is coming. For us, you can ask any question you want. Because the religion is, okay? You can ask questions. I might say, I don't know. You know what? Let me search. Let's make, some counsel and make ijtihad about it. But at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they're afraid. They ask a question, the rule becomes harder. Yeah, like that Sahabi, he comes, the Rasul said, Allah ordered Hajj for you to go now, it's fardu on you. And everybody was quiet, except that Sahabi said, every year, Ya Rasulullah. You see? You see the approach here, right? He's eager to know. Rasul did not answer him. And he repeated second time, third time, he still did not answer him. Rasul said, if I said yes, then it becomes wajib on all of you, وَمَسْتَطَعْتُمْ, and you become all disobedient. If I say yes every year, that becomes a fard every year. Right? But why he did not say no? Yeah, he was quiet. Why he did not say no? No, think.
you can still do it every year, but it's not
What's that?
You can still do it every year if you want it.
No, but if he said no, not every year, then what will be the hukm then? Yani why Rasul did not say yes,
He
right?
will repeat it more than one time.
Thank you. You see? So if he said yes, then now everybody has to repeat it every year. And it becomes hard, right? And if he say no, nobody will go again.
Even if
They will just do it once, and they will not go again even if they are able to, because Rasul said no, not every year. You see? So both ways, the answer is not in your favor. Okay? So that's why you should not ask that question. That's why Rasul followed up and said, whenever I tell you something, do as much as you can of it. But don't keep asking, because that's what make the people before you disobey, right? And being punished because they ask too many questions. Oh, yellow, big, small, this, that. Then it becomes very hard, right? So they ask a question, Allah reveal another ayah. Ask a question, but Allah gave you the general one, right? For now, for us, you can ask any question you want because the deen is already there. I'm not going to invent something new for you, right? So you can ask about ahkam, ask whatever you want. Salah, what about this? What if I do that? What if the time enters? What if the time? Ask, no problem. But at the time of Sahaba, they were not allowed to do this. They were not allowed to do that. But sometimes they ask questions in the matters of morals and manners and advice and all of that. Like that Sahabi who come to say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, I commit a sin. Right? I did something really bad. Something bad. He did something bad. You know. After Fajr Salah, he came and asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam to do that. So how should I repent to Allah Azza wa Jalla and all that? So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, did you pray Fajr with us? He said yes. He said, من صلى الفجر في جماعة كان في ذمة الله. يعني whoever prays Fajr in Jama'ah is in the protection of Allah Azza wa Jalla. That's one. Another one come and said, Ya Rasulullah, I commit bad things. I did, bad stuff. So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, pray 2 rak'ah and ask Allah forgiveness. Allah forgive you. He said, Ya Rasulullah, is this for me only or for everybody? See, that's a good question now, right? He said, no, it's for everybody. You see the question benefited everyone. Had that Sahabi did not ask that question, we'll wait for another situation maybe. But now me and you and billions of Muslims all over history know that they can do that. You see the beauty of the question here. But if the beauty of the question, if they ask a question about Salah, Zuhr Salah Rasulullah, 4 rak'ah, how long is the rak'ah? Now imagine if that question was asked. You get it now? How long is the rak'ah? How long I should stay between the 2 sajda, Ya Rasulullah? How long my ruku' in the nafil? Becomes an issue now. Because if Rasulullah give a standard as an answer, anybody who goes below the standard will feel bad. صح? Yeah. And anybody goes above the standard will feel very special. Bad too. It's bad too. They will become arrogant too. They will think that they are doing better than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yet Rasulullah silently, he makes standards and he varies. Now you know why Rasulullah varies. Sometimes he pray 1 rak'ah with 5 juz. 5 juz. And sometimes he pray 2 rak'ah with 1 short surah like Wattin wa Zaytun, he make it like 2 rak'ahs. And in between you can strive now. It's up to you. Okay? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam prays at night 11 or 13 rak'ah, right? But he said prayer at night 2 rak'ah as much as you want. See, he open-ended. So some people said it's confusing, why he did not stick to one way? Right? The whole point is not to stick to one way.
Yes, sir.
There are things you have to stick to one way, right? But when this open, you don't know. Maybe you are tired in that night. You can pray 4 only. Fine. You can pray 8 only. You can pray 20. You want to pray 100 rak'ahs, up to you. So he gives you a standard of what a good salah should be. Right? And he showed you how far you can go or more you can go. But never feel you are better. That's one. And nobody should look down upon others or feel that they are better than others. And that's the beauty of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now what are examples for muhkamat mutashabihat? What would be examples in Quran? Right? An example of muhkamat first. Like the ayat of Surah Al-An'am. Surah number 6, 151 to 153. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, قُلْ تَعَالَوْا Come to me. أَتْلُ عَلَيْكُمْ أَتْلُ مَا حَرَّمَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ I will recite for you what Allah prohibited for you. أَلَّا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا Do not associate with Allah.
126.
Yeah, no, 151. Surah number 6, yeah. Surah number 6, Surah Al-An'am, verse 151 to 153. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said, take care of the orphan. Don't break your promises. Right? Be good to your parents. Be good to your parents. Establish your salah. Don't commit shirk. Don't kill each other. هذا محكمات. يعني we know what killing is. Don't killing each other. خلاص محكمات. Right? يعني there is no interpretations here. محكمات. Right? Even in the interpretations, it is on the how to do things, not what. يعني what be good to your parents. How? That does not make محكم and متشابه, right? But what you mean, the word what you mean is what makes an ayah محكم or متشابه. Okay, لا تشركوا به شيئا, يعني don't put anybody beside Allah. How? That's another story, right? Don't slaughter other than Allah. Don't make dua other than Allah. Don't pray to other than Allah. That's not what makes it محكم or متشابه. محكم or متشابه, you know what it means. You know what it means. How to apply it, that's another story, right? But if you ask a question, what is this talking about? Then that's متشابه, right? يعني you don't get it, right? But shirk, any Arab would know what shirk means. Shirk, partner. يعني it's not one person, it's two. So لا تشركوا, يعني always keep Allah one. Don't make two. Now the details, that's a science to study, right? So all the ayat like that. Also, another ayah muhkama, like Surah Al-Isra, we studied that. Surah Al-Isra course, huh? Surah number 17, the chapter number 17, verse 23 to 26. That's called muhkam also. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Worship Allah alone and be good to your parents. How make ihsan? إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرِ. When they are old at your place, don't say off to them, be nice. Muhkam. Now you understand what muhkamat means? Ayat muhkamat, yeah. Also, Allah Azza wa Jalla said about Isa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam, there are some ayat about him muhkamat, some ayat about him mutashabihat. That's why we choose this ayah. Ayah muhkama about Isa alayhi salam, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, in huwa, Isa truly is not anybody, not anything but, yani in huwa illa. These three words means he is nothing but abdun, slave servant, أنعمنا عليه, we give him some favors, status, يعني. وجعلناه مثلا لبني إسرائيل, and we make him an example to Bani Israel. This ayah is clear in meaning. So Isa is a God? No. Isa is an angel? No. هو عبد, يعني slave servant like you and me, like everybody. But he has a status. أنعمنا عليه. So it's not like any عبد, يعني, right? Rasulullah is عبد. سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده. He's عبد, right? But he's رحمة للعالمين. Rasul, he is infallible. Yeah, that's a status. But he shares with us the humanity. So this ayah here, muhkam, about Isa alayhi salam, right? So this ayat, which represent the majority of the Quran. So majority of the Quran is what? Muhkam. So if you have somebody says, oh, there are too many ayat mutashabihat, says, but they are not the majority of the Quran. Majority of the Quran is actually ayatun muhkamat, right? Ayatun eh? Muhkamat. And it is always al-ayat al-muhkamat talking about the fara'id in aqidah, worship of Allah, fara'id in salah, zakah, hajj, siyam, dealing with parents. That's the things that fara'id. أصول الاعتقاد, يعني the foundation of our faith and our belief. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله. Clear, right? محكمات. Ordering, prohibitions, what's halal, what is haram, it is understood, right? Understood. So they are the foundation, and all the other ayats come branching off of them. Now, so the mutashabih, part of it will be understood through the muhkam. Okay? So the word mutashabih, not all, no way will understand it. Yani you have muhkamat, there is always a way to understand it. That's majority of the Quran. Let's say 80%, all right? So that the 20% is all complete opposite? No. No. More than half of those 20% will be understood within what? Muhkamat. You understand muhkamat very well. You have the knowledge. The scholar taught you. Then you will know that this one goes on that one. All right? Very minute part of the mushabihat that you don't get it. Only Allah Azza wa Jal kept the knowledge of it. You know what literally it means. But you don't know what is that. All right? And I'll give you examples now. Mutashabih. Ayah, for example, about Isa alayhi salam. So you said Isa, muhkam, he's abdu of Allah, right? but he has a status. That's muhkam. متشابه now about Isa. وكلمته ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه. He is the word of Allah. He is through to Maryam. Isa is the word of Allah. He is through to Maryam, and he is a ruh from Allah. What is a ruh? How he threw the word? What word? And Isa is the word kun fayakun مثلا, maybe, right? Maybe the word kun fayakun. But how? What is this? The exact procedure that happens for her to become pregnant? Right? What is the exact procedure for her to become pregnant? We know a normal woman to get pregnant, and this ayah is in Surah Al-Nisa, Surah number 4, verse 171. Al-Nisa 171. Isa is the word of Allah. ألقاها كلمة ألقاها. يعني ألقاها means catch, right? Catch. ألقاها إلى مريم وروح منه. And that is the reason for the deviation in the belief. That God, had this relationship with Maryam, and she conceived. Because they cannot understand it out of the human frame. You see, that's the point. Cannot get it except a child means there is a man and a woman. Right? So some will say, oh, it is the Joseph, the carpenter or whatever, right? He married to her. Or she did this. Like the Jews said, she did zina, wal-'iyadhu billah, right? Or God himself came in a form of a human and make her conceive. They cannot understand it out of because they think God is like a human, humanizing God, right? That's the problem with the issue. But Allah Azza wa Jalla said, He gave the word to Maryam and He did the ruh to Maryam. What ruh? The other said is the Holy Ghost. He's the one who make her conceive. But this is a problem now, right? Now understand what mutashabihat means. Allah kept it as a test for us. Some people deviated because they wanted to humanize it. They wanted the literal meaning. They had to do it as a human way. Right? They can't accept that God can do whatever He wants. That's why at the end of the ayat, Surah Al-Imran, Allah Azza wa Jalla said the example of Isa is like the example of Adam. If you are wondering that Isa came from a mother with no father, how about Adam?
No father, no mother.
Yeah, so who's more actually? Adam, right? طيب Hawa, she came from the father with no mother. So that's even more issue. That's more issue. Woman is the one who gets pregnant. But having a child without someone getting pregnant, Adam, and then Hawa, that's twice, not only once. But we are so fixated on Isa alayhi salam, right? So, what Adam? There was nothing called a human being, nothing. Nothing called a human being. And it came, man, like us, human, like us. Blood and, soul and blood, seeing, sneezing, everything. Who conceived this one? So if you believe that Allah can do a human being from nothing, and then He further proved to you in a shorter time that He can get a woman, different gender. There was nothing called a woman before, right? There was nothing called a woman before, right? So then Allah Azza wa Jalla create that one, and Adam wakes up and he finds her beside him. Hawa, right? And then they both, reproduce in the way that we all know after that, right? And then Isa alayhi salam comes without a father. So what's the issue?
How do the Christians reconcile? They accept the Adam story, but then they messed up with.
They did not have. The Quran is the only one that brought this connection. Quran is the first time for them to hear. That's why many of them became Muslims. Quran is the first revelation that draws this analogy. The example of Isa is the example of Adam. You are so stuck on this, so here is one. But before that, they did not make the relation,
But how is it now that they? How can they not reconcile it?
Yeah, it's hard to give up a belief for thousands of years. Have been there. Same with us. Imagine someone, you bring him from a culture. You are suffering from this in here. Come on, you are used to something you cannot reconcile with all the arguments in the world. You find in yourself something you are used to is very hard to give up and do something else. Same thing. You believe that has to be done that way. Yeah, that's one mutashabih. Also, the other mutashabih, Al-Imran, which we'll study, verse number 55. إذ قال الله يا عيسى, when Allah said يا عيسى إني متوفيك ورافعك إلي. متوفيك, the word متوفيك. متوفي, it means in Arabic that you finish your term or means you die. It means both, right? Because death means finishing your term, right? So now the scholar said, did Allah make Isa die, then he raised him? Or did Allah raise him without death? Actually, we have that debate in the Muslim scholarship, right? We do have that debate. There are some who say that Isa died.
No, but
Not for 3 days, but because we don't believe that he is God, يعني, right? We don't believe that he is God. He said, ولدت ويوم أموت. He died. He died. ما هو that's the ayah. No, he died then. So some say that. Well, that's why I'm telling you it is متشابه يعني. It is متشابه.
Not all Christians believe that Isa died.
And not all Muslims believe that Isa was raised alive.
That's what she was trying to say.
That's what I'm trying to say. متشابه means that. Right? So متشابه means that. But all Muslims believe that Isa was raised? Yes. That he will come at the end of the time? Yes. Some people deny that, but they are like odd, right? But we believe that. But did he make him die or just doze off as sleeping? يعني?
That was the big question.
That was the big question mark. That's why this ayah is متشابه. You see the... So nobody can precisely say. But Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Isa alayhi salam, Allah put his look on someone else. There are different narrations, يعني, right? And then something opened in the ceiling and Allah raised him. But he did not say, did he die or did he did not die? But everybody knows that Allah raised him and that Rasulullah met with him in the heavens. طبعا this is a different dimension. He met with him in a different way. Allahu a'lam, right? But he will come at the end. Yes, he will be alive and maybe Allah will resurrect him again. But the whole point is the word mutawaffika here. And the big discussions in the tafsir. Why? Because they go and survey that word in the whole Quran. Right? الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها
What is the
والتي لم تمت في منامها. يعني the word موت does not mean death only. It means sleep too. And the word wafah does not mean death only. It means finishing your term. You see, that's what makes the... Yes.
That's why we don't understand.
Yes. So the word literally have more than one meaning. And then Allah mentioned it in a context without a manual, without a further explanation. Then some would say, oh, that word means متوفيك, يعني you finish your term on earth. Right? يعني نوفيهم أجورهم. يعني we give them their full reward without any decrease. And somebody, متوفى, means he finished his term on this earth. That means it does not prove that he died. And the other said, وفاة means death. وفاة, not وفاء, right? وفاة means that death. So which one here? يعني Rasulullah did not say which one. And both words are possible in understanding. So it stays mutashabih now. Allah is the only one who knows which one.
This is a perfect example that we should not tell people the meaning of Quran just as.
Yes.
Because we don't understand.
Yeah, that's why some people said it might mean this, it might mean that. And none of them could prove that the other is wrong and I am right. So, and this is a big issue, it's not a small one, يعني, right? So that's what? Ruh. Ruh. What is a ruh? قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليل. Allah answered that. And the ruh, nobody knows. What is shape? What shape like? Is it energy? Is it air? Is it heat? Is it what? Is it the same, like our ruh is the same shape like us? Is it? Maybe. Is the ruh in one part of our body and the effect of it goes to the rest of the body? Or the ruh is in every inch of our body? Allahu A'lam. You see, ruh, we know that there is something called ruh because of which you are alive, because of which this body is functioning. The ruh separates from this physical shape. This physical shape starts crumbling and deteriorating and nothing. You see the point? But can you describe what is ruh? Nobody. So when Allah said وَرُوحٌ مِّنْهُ, we don't know what the word ruh means. So how Isa is a ruh minhu? Just leave it like that. So Isa is a human, but how he was given to Maryam is a different ruh than everybody else. That's why she conceived without a man. Maybe, right? And that's why the scholars even differed. How long was Maryam's pregnancy? Yes, some says that she conceived and gave birth same day.
Yes, I heard that.
I heard that.
Yes, so it was not a 9-month pregnancy. Yeah, فحملته فانتبذت به مكانا قصيا فأجاءها المخاض. The word fa means no time in between. You see the point here? So it's more complicated than you think, يعني, right? And that's why those kind of details, because Isa alayhi salam is special. So he has to stay special now, right? And those details were not discussed. So فحملته يعني Allah, يعني we will come to that passage. It's very amazing. It's mind blowing. And when we start reading it, you will see that in Surah Maryam and Surah Al-Imran, the angels tell Maryam, "Ya Maryam, we are going to give you a son." How can I get a son and all of that? Then the letter fa comes, that she became pregnant. يعني maybe she became pregnant like then, and then once she felt the pregnancy, she went out. Because also you have to think, يعني Zakaria and the people used to Maryam being in her mihrab, right? He checks on her all the time. يعني she goes 9 months and people don't ask about her. يعني nobody saw her while her, right? They only were amazed when she had the child. Yet the others answer, they would not be surprised unless she was actually pregnant 9 months, and they keep going back and forth, right? Between each other, but nobody can prove the other one is the opinion. Yeah, so فحملته فانتبذت به مكانا قصيا فأجاءها المخاض إلى جذع النخلة قالت يا ليتني, I wish I died. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, shake the tree. هزي إليك بجذع النخلة. يعني shake the trunk of the tree. Do we shake the trunk or we shake the tree? Here you go. How did she shake it? يعني some woman just give birth. What kind of strength she have to shake a tree? Allah could have said, touch the tree. Right? Or just the dates come without, the wind blows and the date comes. But the date is up there, right? Who's going to shake a palm tree? Do we get the dates like that? Do we actually get the dates like that?
No.
Yeah, you shake it whatever you want. All of us can stand beside the tree and shake it. How many dates will come? Nothing. So that's why they said the trunk itself had the dates. Some said that is the miracle, that Allah gave her the power to do that. Some said this is like a figure of speech to encourage her, right? That don't feel weak, don't feel that. Allah gave you the strength. Lots of explanation. That's what mutashabih means. You get what mutashabih? Yeah. طيب, another mutashabih about Allah Himself. Another ayah, mutashabih about Allah Himself. Surah Taha, chapter number 30, verse number 5. Yeah, surah number 30, verse number 5. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi istawa. That's a big one. And because of that, many sects deviated in Islam.
Yeah.
Yes.
ويده مغلولة.
لا, the يده مغلولة to the Jews. But within the Muslim, this ayah created few Islamic sects that they deviated actually out of the religion. Ar-Rahmanu, we know Allah Ar-Rahman. قُلْ ادْعُوا اللَّهَ أَوْ ادْعُوا الرَّحْمَنَ أَيًّا تَدْعُوا فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. That's the name of Allah. So we know when we say the word Ar-Rahman, whom we're referring to, right? Allah, our Creator. تمام? Good until here? على العرش استوى. يعني the word استوى, now I want you to understand it. This is important here. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. I'm not resembling anything about Allah Azza wa Jal, right? But if I am standing here out, right? And this is my seat, okay? And if I do this, it's not sitting, even though I'm touching the seat, right? And I am doing this, still I'm not sitting, right? When I will be sitting on this seat? When I completely sit, right? That's istawa. Istawa means fixed himself on it, right? Now, does this apply to Allah? Astaghfirullah, right? Because now we will say that there is a place containing Allah. Yes? There is a space containing Allah. And if a space containing Allah means the space encompassing Him, means He's limited to a space. You see? So that means you're giving God a shape now. And that's a problem. Okay? And the group deviated because of that. They said there is arsh. There is arsh means throne, like a king sitting on a throne, right? Al arsh. He sat on his throne. The king sat on his throne. Means where was he before the throne? How did he sit on the throne? He is above the throne, means he cannot sit without a throne. Means the throne is helping him to sit, means the throne is powerful. You see the process of thinking now? They go physical, 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 and then they have to give Allah a shape. They said, okay, now we have to think Allah when He says our eyes, means He have eyes like us. When Allah said Sami' means He have ears to hear with, right? When Allah said hand, means He have hand, means Allah looks like a human being but in a bigger scale. And they deviated because of that. So they give Al Arsh Istawa a completely A to Z physical interpretation. While on the other side, the extreme, they denied all of that. They say there is no arsh, there is no sitting, Allah is in everywhere, and you cannot contain, and this is a figure of speech, means Allah Azza wa Jalla is holding everything in His control. Complete deviation also, right? Right? And some others said, I don't know what is the meaning of that ayah to start with. I don't know. Deviation also, right? But then how you come to the regular one? We said, okay, al-istiwa'u ma'loom. We know what sitting means. Wal-kayfu majhul. How for Allah, how it applies for Allah, I don't know that one. I know what sitting means. I know what arsh means. Right? And I know sitting for me before and after and how, all this applies to us. But does it apply to Allah like that? No. So I know the literal meaning applying to us. But I cannot apply to Allah Azza wa Jal. And I have to believe in it as it is. That Allah sat on His throne in a way that fits Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the belief. Allah has a hand that fits Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know what hand means. I know what saq, shin means. I know what eye means. So Allah said He has an eye, He has hands, He has feet, He has, shin, saq, He has arsh, He's sitting on His arsh, He's looking at us, right? I believe in all of that. We believe that Allah loves, Allah dislikes, maghdubi, ghadib Allahu alayhim, ghadib. I know what ghadab means. When I'm angry at you, I know that's ghadab, right? Allah is angry at someone. Is it the same ghadab? I don't know. Allahu a'lam. But I know that Allah gets angry in a way that fits Him. Right? Allah is pleased. Rasul sallallahu said, Yadhakullah. Allah laughs. How Allah laughs? Allahu a'lam. Right? Ya'jabullah. Allah Azza wa Jalla is amazed. Amazed, something strange for you. But there's nothing strange for Allah. But Allah ya'jab still. Yamkuruna wa yamkurullah. So their makr is known. Is Allah's makr is the same kind of evil, devilish way like astaghfirullah. Right? You understand the aqidah? And that is the ayat mutashabihat. All the ayat talking about the sifat of Allah in a way that we know the meaning, but we don't know how to apply. That's called mutashabih.
But in the Quran we have that ليس كمثله شيء.
طبعا صحيح.
So how they
وهو السميع البصير. ليس كمثله شيء. Again, you will say nothing is like Him because He is bigger. You see? So يعني still the ayah itself will have mutashabih in it. يعني what is ليس كمثله شيء means? ليس كمثله شيء in size, ليس كمثله شيء in quality, ليس كمثله شيء in altogether, still.
no, it's made like above our
I know,
imagination.
I'm just telling you from the other side. You are saying that because you already have the conviction, right? But if someone comes from outside, if a new Muslim comes and you tell him that ayah means, how he's going to think? That is what makes it mutashabih or not. But you chose your belief already. Yeah, and you became convinced with it. That's why you keep defending it, right?
Yeah.
But believe me, trust me, trust me, my sister, if you sit with one of those philosophers, right? And they do that, they will deviate you. They will create doubt in your head. They will. Trust me with that one. There are certain levels, right? And that's why I'm just telling you, not everyone who disagrees with your belief, you become like the guardian of the religion and you start defending without knowing your limits. You should know your limits, right? And you should know who you're discussing with. Because sometimes a very sincere Muslim brother or sister, and they are convinced about their deen and they're, mashallah, beautifully effective in their community, then they get themselves into a debate with a college professor, for example, who knows philosophy. They know your game better than you, right? So they will create doubt in the head of any human being, regardless of your belief. That's how they train, right?
Yeah.
It's not like, if some Muslim who is in the same level of philosophy like them, they will not debate with. But they know that they can create doubt in you. And that's the whole point. It's not that they are convinced of what they're saying philosophically. Because if someone who studied philosophy but he's a good Muslim, they will not debate with. But they create doubt in you. That's the game. That's the whole game, right? That's why, like anybody who is a lay person, Christian or Jew, and some Muslim with good knowledge, they can get into their head also. Yes? So someone also, a scholar on that, can get head to a general Muslim as well. And that's why many people, they leave the religion, they do that, young people, old people, like that. So mutashabih is a big sensitive issue in the Quran. Yes.
Is the personalized of Astaghfirullah Azim, of Allah, it's related, for instance, for the ancient civilization, like the Greek people, how they imagine their goddess and all this stuff. So those people like try to facilitate themselves that, okay, it's like this kind of shape.
But originally when Adam alayhi salam was created on the tawheed of Allah like that, right? But then people, the more they go out from the teaching of the divine, the more they go with their own ideas, right? So someone come with this idea of there might be a good God and a bad God. Why? Because it cannot be one doing the opposites, right? And they acted upon that, then people convinced with that, they started creating a belief system. That's how it works. That's how it works. Like many Muslims now, they start going that way too. Their head start interpreting this kind of mutashabih things without any foundation of muhkam. You have to know the muhkam, you have to know the frame of mind, you have to know where is your limit, right? But when you leave your mind, like that's what academia now saying, think whatever you want.
No.
Yeah, they do. Think whatever you want. You go to any college, they destroy your belief. That's the first thing. Especially in the postgraduate, like masters, not much, but in the PhD level. First thing, any PhD program in the United States or in the West, I'm just telling you from experience. Yeah, you go there and anyone, the main issue that tells you your mind is independent from anything. Your mind is not a male or female. Your mind is not a Muslim, Jew, Christian, or anything, right? Those are things that you accept by culture and by tradition and by everything. Leave them out and build whatever you want. You get it? You get the point I'm trying to say here? You're a Muslim. I respect that, but that's a choice though, right? That's the choice. But your brain is not a Muslim as a brain, right? Your brain is what accepted this. So let's get rid of it and start building your own house from the beginning. You're the one who built. That's how you will find many who are very good, but once they get the PhD in whatever, right? Even in the religion, in comparative religion, you'll find that they create their own theories about things. Some Muslim was known as a Muslim da'i and all that. He said, you know what? Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam slaughtering Ismail alayhi salam was not an order of God. It was his own self thinking about that, but God saved the situation at the end, right? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam chose to do that, but then God told him no, we don't do that, right? So they destroy the whole thing. Why? Because this is what they think. They use their mind without this how they say, plethora of information that we have, Quran, Hadith, Sunnah, how Allah said it is a test and everything. No, they just took their mind and go with it, and they become stubborn. Everybody talk to them, they might know it's not. And someone catch that belief in Egypt, a woman who was like out of the religion already. And she said because a dream, she did not say dream, she said because a nightmare a pious person saw, billions and billions of animals are slaughtered every year. How aggressive. You see how she looks at the things? You understand where the mutashabih things can take a person? Right? And when your mind becomes the judge, your mind is not the tool. It became like the judge. The mind is like a vehicle. It's like your car. Your car has to park outside here. You cannot bring it in here. Can you? You can if you crush through that. your car goes to the parking lot. Then you have to come to prayer. So what is your intention when you're leaving home? To pray, right? But to reach prayer, your vehicle takes you there. But the actual prayer does not happen by your vehicle. You get the point? Your mind is the same thing. Your mind reaches to Allah, but your mind will never understand who is Allah Azza wa Jal completely, right? So once the mind become the judge on everything, it is like my mind is a god now, and everything it has to make sense to my mind. Otherwise it's not accepted, right? So everything has to accept to my mind, and that's the problem, with all those who study said, you know what? You have to convince me.
Wow. Everything is reasoning.
Has to convince me. What is Ar-Rahman al-Arsh istawa? You have to make some literal sense out of it to enter my head. Otherwise, no. That is a problem. Yes, that's what I'm telling you. Like everything has to. Your mind is the God. They don't want to say that word, but they said your brain is your individual God, not anybody else's brain. Your brain. You create your own shape or form of belief and faith and how you look at things and perceive. You might be wrong, but I respect it. No problem. I have something different. That's how it is. So that's how they deconstruct any religion or any belief, because the word belief is the faith, al-iman, al-aqidah, means you have a conviction, unshakable conviction that most of the time does not make literal sense to you. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. What is a sirat? How can you imagine a sirat which is thinner than a hair and sharper than a sword, and people will walk on it? What are you talking about, man? That's why people denied all of that. Denied adhab al-qabr, grave, and there is a life after grave. You said, no, we believe that maybe the resurrection and the day of judgment. Okay, I agree with you, but there is nothing in between. You see? Because everything has to make sense. Okay, you believe that there will be Yawm al-Qiyamah and people will walk and will stand, but you don't believe in adhab al-qabr. Why? What is the big deal about that? If you believe that people will be resurrected and all these things of Yawm al-Qiyamah, which does not have any physical equivalence in your head, but you deny that in the grave there is a certain life, why? You agree there is life here, and you agree that there is life in Yawm al-Qiyamah, but no life in between, why? Why? What do you mean by Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, Allahumma inna a'udhu bika min adhab al-qabr. I seek refuge in you from adhab al-qabr. Said, oh, that's hadith da'if now. You see how one leads to the other? Yes. So that's how it works. Your brain takes a thought and then you run with it, and then you become challenged, so you start throwing things left and right. And that becomes the issue, because it becomes too late to deny now, because you already destroyed 10, 15 things in your way, right? So it's very hard to say, I'm wrong here, and I'm wrong here, and I'm wrong here, and I'm wrong here. But from the beginning, we have to believe there is muhkam, there is what? And mutashabih, there is certain limits for me. So once you have that, you go easy. Okay? But if you say everything has to make sense, then you have a problem now. Because sometimes something will not make sense. Then you say, I need it to make sense. And in your effort for it to make sense, you'll start destroying things, furniture around.
It reminds me when my daughter, for instance, asked me what's the meaning of something. It's very hard to convince this new generation about something. It's not material for them, because that's what they teach them in the school. Everything, it has meaning, it has size, it has something.
No, but this is not new. This is not new. The issue is us, not the children. And I accuse myself too. The issue is us. We are not reading enough. We are not studying enough. That's two. Not reading enough, not studying. One thing. And we are not how should I say that? No, we are not spiritually connected enough. Because Allah said, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيَعْلِمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. Have taqwa, Allah teaches you how to encounter those situations, right? How to make an argument. Because the hikmah comes from Rabb al-Alamin. يُؤْتِ الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. We studied that, right? He gives hikmah to everyone. So that's why we ask Allah to give us the hikmah. And if you are spiritually connected to Allah and your worry is always to be close to Allah, plus you are increasing your knowledge and you're studying and you're reading the Quran and the Sunnah and practicing what you do, then you can handle those situations. Because it is very simple to prove to a child that not everything is tangible and not everything is convincing. Everything is, like that. If I give you $10 now to buy the doll or $50 to buy the doll that you want, how do you feel? I feel happy. He said, how much is happiness? How big is it? Where is happiness? Show it to me. I want to see happiness. He said, I'm smiling. I said, you're smiling, but I'm not seeing it. I'm sad and I'm smiling too. See, this is kind of conversation you make with the kids. So their mind grows out of this physical interpretation to everything. Now they know there is something beyond the physical. You don't wait until they ask you a question. But those are the type of things, right? Look, how do I know you're happy? Oh, because I'm smiling. But I saw you one time you smiling, even though you were in pain. When the doctor was giving you a shot, you would say, oh, it doesn't hurt. And you were smiling. So that doesn't mean you're happy. Right? So they start thinking like that, right? So now when they ask you, believe me, they will not ask you always physical questions, right? Because like you feeling something, but we cannot touch it. It is the same thing. Allah is happy with us. How we know? We don't see Allah smiling, but He told us in the Quran that He's happy. You start instilling those things in the children. The love, the hate, the anger, the happiness. Talk to them concepts. Because you get out of this material life we are all in. We are all in material life. So try to raise the children with believing in higher values. Higher values? Higher values. You say the truth because it is the truth. The kids learn values too, but in a wrong way. They learn in the class, they cannot tell on each other even they are wrong. That's a value, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? They know what is right and wrong. But when it comes to classroom code, I cannot tell about my classmates. I will be a title teller, labeled, and I don't want that label. You see the belief system? That's called belief. This thing you can do, but you don't want to do because something else. That's what Muslims do all the time. I know that I can disobey Allah, but I'm not disobeying Allah because He will be unhappy with me. I don't want to do that. Same thing like you do in the classroom. That's why one of the Salihin, one time someone come and said, how should I develop fear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How I don't know. He told him, do you have somebody good in your family? He said, yeah, somebody pious, salih. Somebody salih, good pious person. How you look at them? He said, with all and respect. He said, would you do something wrong in front of them? He said, no. I said, why? He said, because they will not see me the way they see me. He said, fear Allah like that. It's exactly the same, right? He's trying to get I'm not focusing much on the meaning of the story. I'm focusing much on the moral of the story. So sometimes it's very simple to teach our kids things, right? You're telling him like, would you do this thing in front of your dad? No, right? So imagine Allah is the creator. Don't do it in front of Allah because Allah can see you all the time. And that's why it is belief system goes one by one by one. In the beginning you said, who created things? Allah. They repeat without connection, right? Allah. Who created the sun? Allah. Who created the moon? Allah. Who created us? Allah. Allah. They keep repeating, right? And while they are saying Allah is beyond their imagination, right? So Allah is bigger than all of that. And then their mind goes within that frame, right? But if you don't do those things, when they grow up, they're challenging everything, right? And that's what it is, yeah. So mutashabihat for us adults. How about the kids? Subhanallah. The description of Allah is mutashabihat for us. For kids, it's normal then, yeah. So the meaning of mutashabih And the muhkam again becomes relative from one ayah to the other, as I told you, right? Muhkamat means it can be understood literally or can be understood through knowledge, right? But it will be understood at the end. So it depends from one ayah to another ayah, who's the one who getting it. Mutashabihat, same thing. Mutashabihat, sometimes it is only for certain people, and sometimes it is only by Allah Azza wa Jal. Like al-ruh, Allah Azza wa Jal knows al-ruh. What time a person dies, Allah only knows mutashabihat. So this is some of the meaning of the mutashabihat. Then Allah told us, only those who hold to mutashabihat, they have deviation in their heart. They run behind the mutashabihat. And if we say that your mind is not the judge, your mind is a tool, right? They insist that their mind is the judge, so they always come mutashabihat. A person at the time of Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, his name was Sabigh ibn Asal. Sabigh ibn Asal was someone who has this logic and philosophy and all of that. So he comes to the Sahaba in one of the armies in the Sham, Syria and all of that area when the Muslims were in those fights with Romans and all that. So he comes and asks them, what is the Dhariyati Dharwa, Hamilati Wiqra? What is Wasaffati Saffa? He's not asking about the literal meaning of things. He's asking, what is that? What is the wisdom behind this? Why Allah making oath with these things? So he's creating doubts, right? So they complained to the leader, who complained to Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, right? So he said, send him over. So they send him over, and he bring the Jarid al-Nakhl, in the branch of the date palm tree, where the cluster of the date comes. At the end, it has like those long spikes, right? So you have the branch and those spikes coming out. Like maybe you can relate to bamboo sticks, if they are like, crushed, right? They are torture, So he get that, and he asked him, what is your problem? He said, no, I'm just asking about that. He said, okay. Then he ordered him to be beaten with this one until he bleeds, right? Then he said, go. So he go there and he lived for a few weeks in Medina. He said, you don't leave Medina, okay? You stay there. And then, until he heals, then he bring him back. He said, what's your problem now? And he looks at him and he says, he beat him again, right? And then he says, you go a few weeks and bring him back. He said, if you want to kill me now, right? He said, I'm not going to kill you. You're going to stop what you're saying, right? And he kept him until he repented to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's what mutashabih means, right? You got to accept it, but you don't negotiate too much and create doubts. Quran is not to create doubts among the people. La rayba fih, right? You have to accept those things. So zayg means they have deviation in their heart that causes them to take those things and start creating doubts. Another way also that they use it for is to have the personal interpretation. You get it now? So one way is to create doubts on others, and one way that they have a hawa, they have a desire. And that ayah can mean different things, and I can customize. I can customize, right?
So, like, if we come across a tafseer or something online and stuff, so what are the red flags that?
What is that?
What are the? If we come across.
You see, your question is great. What is the red flag? If you come, see, there is something called usul al-tafsir. Usul al-tafsir means the fundamentals of tafsir. That's a course all the students of knowledge who are very advanced in this science, they study. So it becomes like a filter for you to sift everything through, right? So it has the linguistic approach, it has the hadith approach, the sunnah approach, the difference of sahaba, the difference after that, what is the difference accepted, what is the difference not accepted, what are the limits. So you have like kind of a fundamental of the game, of the whole thing. Then according to roadmap, yes. So what is accepted and what is like driving, You drive a car, it doesn't mean that you're allowed to use every utility in the car, right? At all times. There is a speed limit that when you see 35, you understand what it means. Anybody driving and they see a sign, only written 35. They are not riding speed limit 35. Just a sign pops in front of you, huh? Certain color, certain shape, and it is written on it 35. Then it becomes 50. Then it becomes 70. What do you do? What do you do normally when you see that sign? Why did you do that?
That's what it means. Because you
How do you know it means this?
study the rules.
Thank you.
you get the license.
That's the point I'm trying to make. But somebody, they learn driving in a village كده ولا town. Many people do that. Like in Africa or in Saudi Arabia even. There are some villages or towns, the cars that don't have any license plate, nothing. And they are in a off-road town. And you'll find the 11-year-old kid driving the truck. I saw that by my own eyes, right? An 11-year-old kid driving that. Now bring that kid over here, they drive good, and put them on the freeway. What they gonna do? Forget about getting killed. But they see those signs, what they make out of it? Nothing. Exactly. So that's exactly how somebody knows the meanings of the ayat or read the tafseer, but they don't know the signs. They don't know the road. They don't know because they have not studied usul. That's why they test you here in the usul. You know to drive, but you are not allowed to drive. Okay? So think about it like that. So those who have deviation in their heart, and I'm going to finish with that inshallah, they do two things. يتبعون ما تشابه منه. They focus on متشابه. Why? ابتغاء الفتنة. To create what? Fitna. And إضلال to the others. Deviation to others. Or وابتغاء تأويله. To interpret it the way they want. وما يعلم تأويله إلا الله. Only Allah. Then والراسخون في العلم, those who have يقولون آمنا به. كل من عند ربنا. Both are from Allah. Allah knows. Allah teach us. Ya Allah give us the knowledge. But I stop whenever I don't know. Right? وما يذكروا, يعني only those who will make heed of this, will make sense out of this, are أولو الألباب. أولو الألباب. وما يذكروا إلا أولو الألباب. And then the dua comes, which we'll do next time inshallah with a few other verses. But أولو الألباب, if you want to know who are أولو الألباب, some of أولو الألباب, at the end of the same surah, Surah Al-Imran, Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the creation of heavens and earth, there is ayat لأولي الألباب. Then it tells you who are أولي الألباب after that. Alright? So the end of Al-Imran. The end of Al-Imran is 190. 190. Those who are making dhikr to Allah, standing and sitting and on their side, and those who are always pondering upon the creation in heavens, and those who says, Ya Allah, you did not create that, subhanak. Those who say to save themselves from hellfire, they making the dua, they believe in Allah, they ask for forgiveness, they ask Allah to give them all of that. So this is description of Ulul Albab.
What surah number?
Al-Imran. This same surah we're studying. Surah number 3, 191. This is few of the description. Yeah. So one of the descriptions of Ulul Albab, those who reflect on the creation of Allah and make them reach to believing in Allah. That's Ulul Albab. Ulul Albab are the ones who make everything in this universe guide them to Allah Azza wa Jal. That's what Ulul Albab means. Ulul Albab means those who have brains that they are using.
Who are we now?
They are. We try to be among them, right? Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Yes, ma'am. المتقين يعني هو أولو الألباب makes you among متقين. Higher, yes, of course. يعني to use your mind properly, you will end up being among muhsinin, among muttaqin, you know, like that. Because taqwa is not only doing mechanical actions. Taqwa does not make you do mechanical actions. Taqwa, you know why you are doing, how you're doing, where you're gonna go, right? And that needs ulul albab.